Thursday, January the 6th, 2022. This is a great day for its hitting off this opportunity. Okay, I'm back on. All right, this is an opportunity to be here on Facebook Live through Resident Essentials on the Resident Essentials group page, known as the group. I'm Brother Francis with my weekly Thursday presentation titled Wisdom Keys. And today's date again is January the 6th, 2022. It's about 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time out here. So if you're witnessing this on the East Coast or on the Eastern Time Zone, it's about 3 p.m. Central, it's 2 p.m. Of course, Mountain, it's 1 p.m. And then on the West Coast, it'll be 12 noon. And I come on for about a half hour every week with an interesting subject matter. And today is just as interesting because it came by way of a dream. I think at another point I will talk about dreams throughout this year. But I had a dream last night. And the dream that I had was I was standing somewhere in an area, somewhat of a forest, somewhat of an open area, and of course trees and everything being around. And I was about maybe 10 yards away from this cave, this opening into a cave. And I could hear the animals growl. And I mean, it got a little intense. And then I could hear a big animal asleep. So what it sounded like to me was a huge grizzly bear inside this cave. Not at the immediate opening, but further down into the cavern. And it grows louder with every minute. And then I heard a sound of footsteps. And I was trying to figure, well, why would I hear footsteps? Not an animal's footsteps, a human person's footsteps. So, but I didn't know if that's so, who could it be? Everything grew quiet, and then I heard the sound of a gunshot. And out of the cave was this big bear galloping. And right next to him was the all-time Jamaican 100 meters and 200 meters Olympic champion, Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt. And I was like, wow. Now, the interesting thing about this, as they were coming out of that cave, finally, they literally blew past me. The bear, grizzly bear, galloping on all fours, stretching out, and for the moment, he's ahead of Usain Bolt. And Usain Bolt, he has a huge stature himself. I think he's about 6'2", and has his muscles there, and he's gaining. And eventually, Usain caught up with him and just beat him at the tail. The bear stood up upon its hind legs and was growling, but not in a menacing way at all. Like he wasn't threatening Usain Bolt. And right about at this time, they ran back in my direction. So I'm watching this, right? Usain gained on the bear. Then the bear gained on him. And this went back and forth for a while until they flew past me again and went into the cave. I couldn't resist. So I entered the cave. Now, this is after letting them get down in there. I let them go, and I can just barely make them out inside the cave. And I could see the bear seated on his haunches. He's looking at Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt's kind of crouched down opposite him, looking at him. And he had this big smile on his face. And the bear made its motions but it was rocking back and forth. And eventually it rolled over, that was the bear, rolled over and fell off to sleep. And then a few moments later, so did Usain, right next to him. So when I got up this morning, and that's why I'm running a little late, I was still in my mind trying to figure out what could this mean. And then it came to me what the title of my presentation is. Hibernate like a bear, and you will spring forward like Usain Bolt. So then I thought about that. Well, there's a lot of symbolism in here, in a very simple way. There is symbolism. And of course, this symbolism can take us a long way, because it's going to give us the answer on how to carry out our daily life, another way in which we could do it. Now, caves are places where bears hibernate, usually for the winter in most cases, right? And if you compare a bear to yourself, when you live in a place where it's freezing outside, you as well find a place indoors and you turn up the heat, or you throw logs, chopped pieces of wood onto the fireplace to get toasty warm, right? The more I thought about this, because I'm a very visual person, even when I meditate, guided meditation, even silent meditation, I'm still very visual. It occurred to me that the subconscious mind is the cave, and our deepest thoughts accumulated and meditated upon in the caverns of our mind. Way back. We get past the subconscious and we go all the way back into our subconscious mind. I read once where the subconscious mind is the microcosmic gallery and reflection of the macrocosmic universe. So our thoughts that are housed in there, and even the feeling in our body that's housed in our body that we harness. These are like the interactions of stars and novas, asteroids in the heavens. But we're having this experience internally. The subconscious mind is the cave. It is something we can choose to do as well as spend much time contemplating what to do. We can begin to even envision our ideas, opportunities that come to us, different projects we have, people in our lives that we interact with, whether it's family, friend, close associate, allies, and other individuals, right? Because we're constantly engaging and interacting. We're constantly intertwined here in humanity. We're seeing people and people are seeing us. So we think of all these things that are going on in the subconscious mind, in our conscious mind, and dropping down like drops of water down into the subconscious. And the subconscious, like this cave, has many things in there. Cave in the dream had grizzly bears, and one Pacific grizzly bear, and a person that was well known in the arena of sports, of Olympic sports, track and field. So how can you see that in your mind? Just take a moment and envision in your mind an entryway, dirt, rough, rock, gravel, you name it, grass, into a huge mountainside, and then the opening into the cave itself. As you begin to take that on, once you get the feeling of that cave that huge, expansive, deep caverns and walls, glistening light. That's the inside of you. That's like your subconscious mind. When you see the grizzly bears in there, the grizzly bears are the thoughts that we're holding on to, that we're hibernating. But it doesn't have to mean anything that's negative. It also represents things that we're working on, that we want to sprout up. They're like seeds deep in the soil of our consciousness, sprouting up. And when things sprout up through the soil, right, eventually they seek the light. They bend toward the light. So light is like consciousness. The conscious mind here is also the bear, but it's when the bear is in action. So in the subconscious mind, you have the cave, but you also have the bear. But the bear's asleep, cozy inside, asleep. In the conscious mind, the bear is now being activated, running around inside the brain. As in action is also strength of our thoughts. Now, once we make up our minds, we can move forward with a decision. Every living creature can think. Every living creature upon the face of the earth and inside the earth, in the body of water, up on the mountains, up in the trees, it all can think. Sometimes we move cautiously. Well, bears do that. They move, other animals in the jungles and the forests, they move cautiously, seeking out prey to feed upon, to nourish their community. So sometimes we move cautiously as well, as we are on guard, protecting our cubs. And in this case, cubs, C-U-B-S, represents ideas. Sometimes we're cautious sharing the ideas with other people, right? So we weigh them out internally, consciously contemplating, often thinking out loud, writing down our thoughts, speaking our thoughts to people who could be like-minded or people who are non-judgmental. We even compare our current thoughts and decisions with the ones we have done in the past. So in the past, in the caverns of your mind, deep into the subconscious, are all of these things that are logged in there, right? Your ups, your downs, but that part of yourself is not judging it, it's just gathering, it's just drawing on it, it's just receiving it. Now I remember in the dream I said I heard footsteps. And then I heard a gunshot. And bursting out of the cave was the grizzly bear galloping. And Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was out there with him, running, trying to get and catch him step by step. And eventually caught him at the tape, way down. And then the bear just growled at him, but not menacingly. And they then ran back in my direction, flew past me, went into the cave. Usain Bolt here represents our thoughts and how we may plan to act. Now, he is also our ability to make an effort, seek alliances and assistance. Because in most cases, none of us is doing anything by ourselves. We appear to be by ourselves, but we are actually together. We're actually engaged together, and we're finding ways in which to connect. Now, if you know anything about this athlete, Usain Bolt from Jamaica, from the island of Jamaica, they turn out a lot of great track and field men and women who are gold medal is worthy, and they do attain them, first, second, and third sometimes. Usain trained hard, but he used smarter training. He just wasn't running on the track back and forth. Smarter training would be eating properly for himself, wind sprints, lifting weights, doing them in repetition, a certain amount of weight, strengthening not just his body, but his mind. He had to do that also. And every athlete does that. They're using visualization processes, and some of them are in the meditation. Some are in martial arts, training their bodies in different ways. Some do yoga to keep their bodies limber. And what's the other thing they do? They sit in that ice cold tub, right? I don't know how to do that, but they sit in it. But the thing is that they're working at the different ways to train the body. The body is a collective community of cells and muscles and bones and tendons and nerves, hair, pores of the skin, joints, glands, and that life force liquid called blood that's filled with intrinsic energy called chi or ki or prana. So he was able to learn how to train smart because he had his coaches around him. How he thought about himself, though, played a major factor in his success, way beyond his physical stature. Now, if you ever saw Usain Bolt run, and you can go on YouTube and see him when he was a teenager, he was galloping, his head was leaning to the side, he was like a big gazelle. But as he got stronger and older and matured and more muscled out a little bit, he began to have that certain stride, a power stride. And being that he was a tall athlete, most guys who were like, anywhere from 5'7" to 6 feet, and here he was, I think, like 6'5", maybe, tall person. I don't know if that's his exact dimensions, but it was like they had to make 2 strides to his 1. So they had to run harder and faster. They had to train harder and faster. I think the only person in the end of his career, and I happened to watch it on television, was Justin Gatlin from the United States. And he and Justin always were in high competition. And the very last 100-meter race that they ran, I think, in France, and I believe it was in 2017, Gatlin beat him, I think, just by a head lane. And Gatlin was in the 8th lane where he really couldn't see anybody when he's coming out of the curve or when he's just running straight. He couldn't see anybody because the lane 8 is a longer track, it says. But when he came and was running, he finally caught him and beat him. But I say all of that to say is that each one of us has and makes our own strides. We all make our own strides. We all reach for our particular goal. We all have an endeavor. We all seek to achieve. Sometimes we're winning, sometimes we're not. But what we learn is we become competitive, not with other people, but competitive with ourselves. Every professional athlete will tell you that their goal is to be better today than they were yesterday, to run faster today than they did yesterday. So if they run a good time, even if they lost a race to Usain, they ran a better time than they did the last time when they were racing him. They ran a better race when they were racing other people. Why? Because not just the rivalry being there, just that they're being challenged by running with a better athlete. See, Usain Bolt, beyond his physical stature, he had an opportunity to move forward in life. Usain Bolt And that's interesting name. I should have looked up the name Usain, but think of Bolt, like a bolt of lightning, and that's his real last name. Bolt. His real first name is Usain. Think of the bolt like a lightning bolt coming out of the sky, and it ignites you. It hits you, and you become inflamed. But you don't die. You don't burn up. You just have this extra purpose, this extra energy, this extra desire in yourself to move forward. So Usain Bolt, just like many other professional athletes, never gave up. And he took his losses in stride, using his losses as lessons to be learned, and then move straight forward again. So when we get lessons, we don't really have to be upset that we had it's looked up as being something terrible. If we fail, it's not really something terrible. It's just something that we won't do again, or we try not to do again. So the bottom line of this presentation is don't give up hope. Don't give up on yourself. If you can't do something the way that you want to get it done, but you're getting mentally and emotionally tired before you get burnt out, take a break. Do something different. Watch a movie, laugh, read a book, drink some more water like I got to do right now. Drink some more water. But do whatever we can to make ourselves better so that we can better able to help another person. That's the whole, I mean, we're all sharing this planet together, right? So whatever we do, like, here's an example. Send out a card. I didn't do it this year, but I did it last year and the year before. I did it 3 years in a row since I've been in this residence. And what I was doing, three of the past 3 or 4 years, not counting this year, I would go on Facebook and I'd say, I'm going to send letters out to people. If you like a letter, I talked about not an email letter, a handwritten letter in a card or on a piece of paper. There's some I had to type out because my handwriting got a little sloppy. But the bottom line was for someone to receive a card, to receive a communication that had nothing to do with bills, debts, whatever. All good stuff. To open a letter and read something that someone is actually saying positive things, talking about positive experiences. And many people got excited. And I didn't ask for anybody to write back. I was just instructed through my guides, my spirit guides, to write these letters. Because someone needed the letter. Why? Because it made them feel better. It made them feel loved. And I wrote. Some people eventually wrote back, but what I said at the end of the letter, plant the seed forward. You write someone else. Don't write me back. You can if you want, but write someone else. Let someone else enjoy the pleasure of reading a letter or a card. That was the thing that I was doing. So the thought in the cavern of my mind was the still thought of the bear. When the bear rose up, that was the idea. And then flew out with Usain Bolt running side by side to push the bear to push him to get the message out. So we don't have to look at any of our losses as lessons. That's like an albatross, a yoke on our neck. We don't have to do that. Just realize we have more time, more energy, more opportunity. You have assistance from others. Just enough to set you back on your track. And guess what? If you do this just right for yourself, you will create a gift, a treasure for others around you, in your immediate circle, amongst your family and friends, and beyond in your community. Because in reality, as many people as you're trying to touch, usually about 10% of them are actually touched. They actually receive. And when we're doing things, we can't be mad at the audience. I remember when I first was doing this, and I've been at this 47, 48 years now. Come July, 48 years. First 5 or 6 years, I was mad that nobody would come to classes or no one had any questions. I didn't realize being so thorough and so detail oriented. I had no idea that I was that detail oriented, giving up a lot of information. Once I got out of the ego set, platform of the ego, and toned that down within myself, then I had a whole new vision about what I was doing. So can you imagine yourself, and this is the full title almost that I had in here. Can you imagine this? Your ability to hibernate like a bear allows you to spring forward like Usain Bolt. You are the boat. Not insane, Usain. You are the boat. You have a destiny. You got a track. You have a path. You have an audience. And the thing is, eventually you reach them. So we don't have to cry over the spilt milk like the Five of Cups tarot card shows. It shows the person enshrouded, right, in a robe and a hood, and their back is to you a little bit. And what they're looking at are the three goblets or chalices with the liquid spilled out that represent the past. Three things that they tried to do that didn't work out, so it got wasted. But yet behind this person, there were two other chalices standing firmly on the ground, letting the individual know, hey, you still got some more ideas. You still have some more time. So start looking at the time around you as timeless. That you have all the time in the world to accomplish your goals, to achieve something. And realize that most of the time you're doing it for yourself, to uplift yourself, but you also are doing it to uplift others. Remember, one of the things we're constantly focusing on, or that's focusing on us, is that thing called the ego. The ego is always in the way. Sometimes it becomes a negative part of us. Sometimes it talks us out of doing things. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to get talked out of doing something. We want to get, and you don't want to get pushed into doing something either. You want to come fully with an open heart, being patient, being yourself. Part of this journey is learning how to be more of yourself and then activate your own consciousness to do the things that you're here to do. What we're finding out is that we have this internal bear and an internal Usain Bolt sitting there side by side. One will activate or play off the other. So let yourself be who you are. Let yourself see a new beginning, a new start with yourself. Allow yourself to shower yourself with unconditional love and grace and beauty and compassion and harmony. And yes, you're going to have some of the difficult times, the dark times. But those dark times empower us. In the darkness, there is light. In the light, there is darkness. That's the principle of Taoism in a nutshell. There's a little bit of light in complete, what looks to appear to be complete darkness. And in complete darkness, when you see that light and it flashes out, even in the brightness of things, there's a little bit of the darkness there. This is constantly being weaved in and out of ourselves through our lives. So that's the end of my talk today. Hibernate like a bear, and you will spring forward like Usain Bolt. Well, tomorrow at Resident Essentials at 12 p.m. should be Swanda. And Swanda is Michelle Vidal with some beautiful metaphysical teachings that she has to offer us, and she's on for about a half hour. If you're in the area here, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, please come down to Resident Essentials. Resident Essentials is the palace. It is the home where all of us are working at it. Okay, and it's the owner there is Michelle Vidal, and she's a great person. She's teaching many different classes, offering many classes and courses, and other people come and get a chance once they speak with her to offer some of the things that they have too, to present. This is a metaphysical and esoteric school designed and created by Michelle Vidal to wake up the world. So, and really seed into your life so that you have a better understanding of what metaphysics is. Also, I mean, there's classes. I'm there on Saturdays, usually from 12 noon to 1 p.m. for a small fee. You can take one of my Creative Pathwork meditation classes with me. There are other things. Every second and fourth Saturday, there's something called Spirit Circle, where Michelle or Donna of Dominion Tarot, they're in there teaching these various metaphysical, esoteric things. I mean, to me, in my time of being in this field for 48 years, I didn't have all the formal training. Later I found some formal training. So you can come down, and for a fee, a small fee, you can take a class. And it's about 2 hours, this class, and you can learn anything from auras to how to read candle flames, how to read a crystal ball, how to work with a pendulum, how a Ouija board works. I mean, there's hundreds of things that are being taught. How to describe what you're getting about something, about a person, or about an event. This Sunday, well, also that goes on there is we have Johanna Rader, and she does astrology classes in there at times and courses. And there's so many other people that come through Michelle there in our place. We even have readers on the premises that are there. Someone doing Reiki that's in there during the weekday. So you need to stop on by. It's located at 3107 Eubank Boulevard, Northeast, inside of the Scottsdale Shopping Village Plaza. And you can go in there, and there's plenty of parking, and it is suite door number 34. You see the black door with the old jalousie window. That's where you enter. Now also this Sunday, and whenever you come there, you should wear your mask, okay? We do our best to abide by city, state laws and regulations right now while this pandemic is doing what it's doing. So on Sunday, every second Sunday, Michelle invites you to come down and participate and get yourself a reading, a Soma Pi healing, a transmosis healing, and many other things. We have some vendors that come there. You want to come on in. You can get a tarot reading. You can get an Angel of Grace reading from me. You can get a Celestial I Am drawing from me, where I sit down and feel the energy in your aura, and it's like a mini reading. Most of the readings are $20 for 20 minutes. The Celestial I Am drawings are about $30 for 30 minutes, because it takes a little while to do. But it'll be this Sunday, January the 9th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. right there at Resident Essentials. Come on down, meet us, talk with us, laugh and talk. Meet Michelle Vidal, who's a great person. There are many other people that will be there reading. And so just come on down. If you've never been there, meet us for the first time. Come on down and get your life in order. We've got some beautiful messages for you. All right, I'm out of here. Time for me to go. Glad I made it. See you next Thursday at 1 p.m. for Wisdom Keys. And remember, tomorrow at 12 p.m. is Swanda with Michelle Vidal. See you next time. My grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Have a great week.